and create symptoms. And so what I learned over this 10-year rebuild was that I could understand what was happening through my symptoms. It was like my body was talking to me through my symptoms, and I became able to kind of actually listen to what was happening and understand where I was out of balance, and then rebalance my system and begin to use that energy for self-healing rather than self-destruction. Does that kind of make sense? I know that sounds really crazy, but I've been doing this for so long that now when people say to me that sounds crazy, I just laugh, because that's nothing on the crazy scale to what I do now. So, and I live an incredible life as a result of it. So I would always say embrace your crazy to anyone. And what I did, so I created this process, and it's not, the thing I love about it personally, and which is in the book, is that it's not based around a complicated diet. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need to be doing an exercise regime. You know, you don't need to be doing boot camp or going to the gym. Or you have to remember that when I was so ill, I could barely get up off the floor. So I couldn't handle complicated. I couldn't handle anything that was in any way tiring. I couldn't handle any physical exercise. I couldn't go out and source expensive supplements. I had a baby and I had a 3-year-old, and I had no support, and I was in a foreign country as an expat. So I couldn't, there was very little that I could handle. So this process that I created is simple and doable, and why I wrote the book. What for me, it was like system. So if one person can do it, anyone can do this. And yeah, of course, there are different levels of, oh, I can see that I'm getting an internet unstable message. So there are different levels of illness, but that's just really because conditions for toxicity have been created. So just as we create them, we can uncreate them, we can unravel them. And so now what I do now is that I use the book and the material in it as a base, and I build on that. I've become very interested in how we use the mind and how we use our energy. Focus on now with people and reference the book as a base. So I want you to close your eyes just for a minute. In fact, before you do that, take a good look at yourself. Just take a good look at your physical body, because this is how we identify with ourselves for most of us. Now close your eyes and imagine you are standing in the middle of a football field, in the middle of a soccer pitch, just you, nobody else there. So your physical body is less than 1% of who you are. So if you're standing in a soccer pitch on a football field, and that space, that vastness around you that surrounds you, that's the other 99% of you, and it's magnetic energy. So the way I work now is, well, why don't we use that energy? Why don't we tap into that energy to heal ourselves and actually to improve our lives on every level? It's very much about using, I call it your frequency, because it's kind of the frequency that you vibrate at. You have a vibration. This is all quantum physics, by the way. This is not me just being crazy. But so science proves that this is what's happening. So for me now, the way I work is to use a lot more of our energy for whatever we want to create in our human experience. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to have a little bit of an experience of you using your own energy to change it from whatever it's doing now, to change some of the toxic patterns and put that into more of a self-healing mode, because that's the beginning of self-mastery, or as I like to call it, keeping your shit together. So, okay, that's what we're going to start with. Now we're going to use some of the Kundalini technology. I'm a Kundalini teacher. A lot of people think yoga is about beautiful postures and stretching and wearing, leggings and being a size 0. And Kundalini yoga is not like that at all. Kundalini yoga is the mother of all yogas, and it's all much more about consciousness and how we use our energy to change our mind, change our brain waves, change our neuron voltage. So we're going to do a little bit of that today. So first of all, we just tune in. And feel free to tune in with me, or feel free to just listen to the sound that I make and just see what impact it has on your system, because sound is one of the most important tools that you can use in your own healing. There's lots of research to see that the cancer a tumor vibrates at, and how if you put that frequency into the body or through the body, then the tumor begins to break down. You can Google this, it's all over YouTube. So your sound code is very important for you. The sound that you make can be really healing for you. But we're going to use it now just to tune in to your higher self or your higher consciousness. And all we do is we put the palms together like this, kind of at the breastbone, the thumbs press gently into the breastbone. People think this is religious. It's not. Kundalini doesn't ask you to believe in anything. It doesn't ask you to stop doing anything. It just says, add this to your life and you will have more vitality, more energy, and all kinds of good things. So we just hold this position, we sit up nice and tall, and we're going to say, Om Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times, okay? And don't worry if you don't know the words, it doesn't matter. In fact, I feel like we could use a little bit of frequency, so I'm gonna make a sound. You can just hum along or you can just close your eyes and listen. Whatever feels good for you is good. And as we do these things now, just resist the urge to judge yourself, just resist the urge to go into your conditioning, your programmed thoughts, things that you might have heard. Just give yourself permission to be here and to access your body and your healing ability, your innate healing ability. All right, enough chat. Let's do it. Okay. Nice deep breath. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Deep inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Scary part over with. All right, now what I'd like you to do is just sit with your spine nice and straight, and I'd like you to breathe in through your nostrils, through both nostrils 4 times. So it's 4 short inhales, 4 short inhales, and then exhale through the nose 4 times. And make sure you can actually feel it. So this is a very active breath. Okay, so you should really feel like, see how my chest is moving a bit, my shoulders are moving a bit. That's all fine. That means you're kind of sucking the air up. And the same thing when you exhale, really exhale like you mean it. All right. So let's do 4 inhales, 4 exhales, and just close the eyes down and focus completely on the breath. Here we go. And I want you to keep going. Just listen to me as you continue to breathe 4 in and 4 out. Just focusing on how that feels in your body. No expectations, just allowing the breath to be directed by you. 4 in and 4 out. And as you're doing this now, you're balancing your hormones, because this 4-part breath begins to affect the pituitary gland, the master gland, and therefore how your glands are secreting. Because your glandular secretions actually control your health, essentially. We call them the guardians of the health. And now as you're breathing 4 in and 4 out, see if you can, with your eyes still closed, take your focus up to your forehead. as though you're looking out of your forehead from the inside of your head, and you're still doing the 4-part breath. 4 nice strong inhales and 4 nice strong exhales at your pace. If I was going too quickly, that's fine. Just go at your pace, but try and keep it active. And with the eyes closed, focusing on the center of the forehead from the inside. And by doing that, you're actually stimulating your pituitary gland even more. Keep breathing. Just allow yourself to reset your hormonal response, which controls your day-to-day experience. Keep inhaling, keep exhaling. And see if you can keep your spine nice and straight. And see if you can tuck your chin ever so slightly, as though you're trying to give yourself a double chin. Just pull your chin back so the spine is straight and the head is right on top of the spine. And keep breathing. And really allow yourself to just lose yourself in the breath. Let it become hypnotic. You want to be hypnotized by your own breath, by your own sound, by your own meditation, so that nobody else can hypnotize you. Keep going. We've got about 30 seconds left. Now with the eyes closed, inhale deeply. Squeeze up on your rectum, sex organs and navel like you're trying to suck it all up and in. Focus strongly at the third eye, at the forehead with the eyes closed. Hold the breath. Hold. And now exhale. And just with your eyes closed, just feel the sensations in your body. You may not feel very much, you may feel a lot. It depends on your nervous system, but just get a sense of your own energy and whether you feel calmer, less anxious or relaxed, or less, however you felt when you came on the call. Just feel the energy in your own system, because that's all you. Okay, now open the eyes. Give me a thumbs up if that felt good. If it felt relaxing, if it felt good, great. Okay, so that's a really quick tool that you can use, and you can do that breath work anywhere. So you can be, you remember when we used to use public transport, when we used to go out? Yeah, you can do that on the bus, you can do that on the train. I like to do that when my teenagers are shouting at me, because nobody needs to know. You can be in a meeting, particularly now that we're online, you can be in a meeting doing that. Put your mic on mute. If somebody's really stressing you, just do the 4 breath, the 4 in and the 4 out, and you will find that your whole system goes into a different state. You're changing your emotional state. So that's super easy to do. And we did it for 3 minutes. So in these meditations or in these breath works, if you do something for even 3 minutes, You can change your circulation in your body. You can change your blood chemistry because the glands are secreting into the blood. So then that nourished blood feeds your organs, and that changes your field, your electromagnetic field. We all have this field that extends about 9 feet from us if we're on a good day, less if we're on a not so good day. So in 3 minutes, you can do that in 3 minutes. Revolutionary. Okay, now we're going to do something else. We're going to do something for our thoughts, because our thoughts are a real problem because we believe them. So what nobody tells us when we enter this gift to the human system, the mind is for us to use rather than for us to be used by it. And most people aren't actively managing their mind. So we're getting bombarded, especially now with all this information that's coming at us. And every time you blink, you're downloading around 1,000 thought forms, 1,000 thought forms every time you blink. So that's an enormous amount for your conscious mind to deal with. And of course it can't. So it dumps into your subconscious. And then all those subconscious thoughts play out in your life in ways that aren't that positive. So we have all these thought patterns, and maybe there were things that we were told as kids. Maybe it was programming that we picked up as we got older. Most of it comes from childhood. Let's face it, we can all blame our parents, bless them, God love them. And there's a reason for that. We chose our parents, so it's okay. But we have all this programming, these thought patterns, and we develop, maybe we had a trauma. Let's say we had a trauma as a child, and we made meaning out of it. We created a thought about it. Maybe I'm not enough, or I'm unlovable, or I'm bad in some way. And then we created a belief about that. And then we keep playing that out in our life, and we develop these fun neuroses around it. So even when we're trying to get on in our life and be successful, all the time we've got these negative thought patterns that we're not even aware of, because most of them are in our subconscious, and they're controlling actions and our behavior, and we don't know how to get rid of them. And maybe we go to do some talk therapy and we talk about it, which it's great to go and to talk to someone to brain dump, to download your problems, because so talk therapy has a role there. But when we actually just talk about our problems a lot, then we continue to fire the brain. We continue to rewire the brain for those problems. So the more we talk about a problem and what we're thinking about the problem, the more we fire the brain to hold that neural pattern. So this next exercise we're going to do is basically to break that down, because we develop these addictive patterns of behavior, whether it's people think about drugs and alcohol, and those are addictions. Yeah, but we can be addicted to people. We can be addicted to thought forms. We can be addicted to foods. And what this meditation does is actually it works with the part of the brain stem that controls habituation in the human system. And by habituation, I mean that addiction where we habitually have to do it. We have these bad habits that we can't get out of. And so I want you to think now about what yours might be. What is something what's a bad habit that you know that you do, or know that you think about? Or is there someone that you've been addicted to, maybe a personal relationship that broke up, but you're still kind of connected to that person? You can't disconnect the energy. That's what this works on. Now, obviously, we're going to do it once here. My recommendation is you take this away and you do this for a week. And after a week, I guarantee you that there will be things in your life that you stop doing, and it'll be very subtle at first. And you'll suddenly notice, oh, I'm not needing that. I'm not needing to check my Instagram feed. I'm not needing to go and eat that chocolate all the time. I'm not thinking about that person as much as I was. I'm not Facebook stalking them like I was. It's whatever it is, but you will notice these subtle changes. And then if you do it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, life will radically change. And it sounds really simple, that the science behind it is very complex. We don't need to go into that. No, the main thing is just that we do it. So I want you to remember that there's nothing wrong with you. It's the thought form that you're following. And when we do this exercise, we change the thought form. So what we're going to do is bring your arms up to about here. Bring your fingers into the pads of your palm, and then place your thumbs like you're doing a thumbprint on your temples right here. So you get a good thumbprint right on your temple. Now squeeze your back molars gently together. Don't break your teeth. Just gently squeeze them together. And as you squeeze them, you should feel that bone under there move. Just gently move under your thumb. Can you feel that? Give me a nod. Can you feel that moving? Good. Okay. And now as you're doing that, so you're going to squeeze, 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 and just hold this position. And as you're squeezing, you're going to mentally repeat. So not out loud, just mentally in your mind, you're going to repeat sa, ta, na, ma with each squeeze. Sa, ta, na, ma. I'm going to say it, but you're just going to mentally think it. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. I'm going to time it because you'll kill me if I don't. You'll see why in a minute. Just keep going. Sa, mentally vibrate. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And every time you mentally vibrate this syllable, you're squeezing the back molars. And you're going to keep the elbows nice and up and the spine straight. Close the eyes down. Focus on that third eye point, center of the forehead if you can. But the main thing is to hold the movement, squeeze the back molars gently, and mentally vibrate. Sa, ta, na, ma. With each squeeze. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good job. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. It might be starting to hurt. If you can, breathe deeply. Long, deep breath, and see if you can keep the arms up and see if you can keep the vibration going. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Do your best. Sa, ta, na, ma. We've got less than a minute. See if you can keep the arms up there. See if you can keep that mental vibration, gently squeezing the back molars with each syllable. Press gently in on those temples. Feel the bone move under the thumb. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Nearly there. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Inhale. Squeeze up on rectum, organs, navel. Squeeze it up. Focus strongly out of the center of the forehead with the eyes closed. Hold it. Hold the breath. Hold it. Squeeze everything up. Spine nice and straight. Exhale and release. Okay. Well done. You can bring the arms down. Well done. Good job. You'll probably be feeling there may have been some pain or some stiffness in the arms. It's quite a hard, yeah, I know. You did really well. You all did so well, believe me. That meditation is a real indicator of where your nervous system is on any one day. So if you know, if you can do that for 5 minutes, no problem, and then you go out and you have a big night out and a few drinks, the next day that will be so hard. And the reason is that you have the three parts of the nervous system meet in your armpit. So when you have to hold your arms up like this, after about a minute or two, your brain starts saying to your body, stop, that hurts, that's painful, that's not a necessary movement, we don't need to do this, put your arms down, you idiot. And so what happens is that when you keep the arms up like this, the whole nervous system has to reconfigure. So the brain sends a message to hold the movement, and it asks for more energy to go to the muscles, and the glands have to secrete to send those hormonal secretions to enable the body to hold this new movement. And so to do that, then again, the secretions go into the blood gets nourished, the organs get nourished, the whole electromagnetic field changes, but also the neurons have to increase their voltage. The neurons have to speed up in the brain. And that means to do that, they have to break down the old patterns and reconfigure new patterns. So you're reconfiguring your brain when you do that. So imagine that you have this old